On this week's episode of the Super Chevy Bros Podcast, the trio dives into the game news that tickled their scrotes the most. Mom reviews Watchers by M, Night SHYMALLALLALLAN, and Biko takes us on a deep dive through his backlog with a Ruiner review. Chevar's there too, I guess. Happy Father's Day. It's time for the Super Chevy Brothers Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the Super Chevy Bros Podcast. This is episode 140 on June 15th, the Ides of June, our favorite time of the month. It is Juneteenth has not passed. Shouldn't it just be the whole 9 days? No. How many days is that? Would be, let's see, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 7 days. It should be just a week of Juneteenth because it makes sense that way, except it doesn't. Because it's one day,
brother. You didn't even know when it was, so
right. Exactly, and that's a marketing issue. That old lady walked to Washington for how many years? We don't know. She can't even walk anymore. I think she's actually walking, but she's in Dallas this year, I think.
Right, it's going to be centered here in Dallas.
Yeah, she's in Dallas this year. But
and it should last 2.5 weeks.
2.5? That's not even in the teenth. So we can't do that.
Well, it took 2.5 years to be notified.
Maybe 2.5 days. Like you get a half day on the last day, or the first day should be a half day because that's when you found out.
Here we go, cutting corners again.
And then the next 2 days of freedom, or it's just or you do half day Friday, and then you get the 2 weekend. But then that's not a holiday because it's already a weekend. I don't know. Anyway. There needs to be some marketing around that because when I think Juneteenth, I think the first teenth, which is third, and then that's all right. But it's coming soon.
Hey.
How was the week?
Biko,
who you asking?
You can go first.
My week was fine. Played a lot of games, mostly worked a lot of work. Got back to my other podcast, which is kind of nice. So that's back out. I'm not gonna do too much promo on that, but no, been doing good. Final Combat is this weekend, so I'm watching that this weekend over the course of the weekend.
You watched yesterday?
Yes, I did. I watched the Last Chance qualifier yesterday. That was pretty fun. But no, yeah, just been kind of vibing, kind of just hanging out. Oh yeah, I played some Street Fighter. Akuma's really fun. Bison comes out in less than 2 weeks, so that's really fun as well. So yeah, I'm pretty chill week. Nothing too crazy. Just kind of just been, trying to just make it as weird stuff happens around my house, like my AC leaking and weird stuff like that. Just normal life stuff.
Okay.
I have a game to talk about this week though.
All right.
And I do have a game I know I'm going to talk about next week as well. So that'll be fun.
I have to apologize, man. I still haven't come up with the perfect idea, for the music, because art takes time, right? But it also takes patience. And so I want you to provide that end of it. I'll provide the creativity and time end, and I will have for you an opening for your segment, which will it will shine brighter than the stars. Audibly.
That's a big
big promise there, buddy.
I mean, have you not liked any of the other music made for the show? It's fine.
It's
all coming from here.
It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, yeah, listen, I honestly forgot that you said you were gonna do it, so you kind of snitched on yourself anyway. But I'm
an honest
fine
person.
With there not being any music right now, you'll be fine.
I'm an honest person.
I've been destroying my brain watching 90 Day Fiancé, and boy, white ladies really like to marry Muslim men and then get mad when they're Muslim. It's kind of funny to watch. But that's been the other thing I'm doing. It's been really funny.
It's a trend with all the, not just the Muslim men, but the Muslim women, or it's so weird. Like, come on, guys, you don't. Like what do
I'm
you
sorry,
think you were
yeah,
getting
he doesn't
into?
want you to. He doesn't want you to be around any other men because that's how it works. Don't be like, why is he making me do this?
Come on,
But
guys.
yeah, no, that show is it just makes me remember that, man, my problems are not this. They're not this stupid, but they're also not this big, which is nice to know. That's it's a good reason to watch that show.
Yeah.
Most problems aren't. This too shall pass.
I'm also watching
Yes.
the Final Combat this weekend. It's super. The Last Chance qualifier is super exciting. So if you don't know what Final Combat is, because who does? It's every fighting game essentially has their own kind of circuit of tournaments, and then there's a big tournament at the end. So Street Fighter has one, and Mortal Kombat has one, and Tekken has one. It's kind of actually those are Smash Brothers kind of had some, but
then Nintendo
so
crushed it, yeah.
for Mortal Kombat, it's Final Combat, and so throughout the year since the game, well, not the year, but the last 7 months since the game released,
Yeah.
there's been a tournament or mini tournaments, the winners of the tournaments and different regions. There's like a number one player. Those people get invited to the Final Combat. The people who win by points. So maybe you didn't get number one, but you won or you did well in a bunch of tournaments. You get invited. And then the people falling off in the bottom end get invited to the Last Chance qualifier, and they play off for one of them to get into the pools to keep playing. And so that's what yesterday was. It's kind of the last way to get into the final tournament, and it was really exciting. They had a lot of big players, a lot of famous players who were surprisingly not in the top 20 guys or 18 or whatever it was. But it was cool. It was fun.
Like
to watch.
was there. I thought El Kakui would have made it into.
Gur was there. Hayate. Was it Hayate? What's the French guy?
I think it is Hayate. If I'm
Hayate.
I always think it's funny that his name's Hayate, but he's French. But yeah.
Well, French are also weebs, so they're almost as big of just as big of weebs as Americans. It's kind of
my week. I reviewed or actually watched a movie for the show over the last weekend, a week ago. And then I had kind of a rough week personally, as far as physically. But I recuperated. I feel a lot better at this point. And I just have to say it was a week of intention. I didn't intend to get sick or feel sick, and I really was. And it was kind of rough on me. But I also intended to play a racing game on the PlayStation 4. What I have discovered is that these PlayStations, especially the 4, they're like prescription bottles for children. They're designed not to allow boomers to turn them on. I cannot get it turned on.
oh my God. Is this again?
Cannot find the damn button.
Is right,
Mom,
right on
I
the
told
front.
you,
don't have to
the
press
button
it,
is on front. You just it's where the gloss meets the matte. All you have to do is just there are two buttons. There's an open button and a power button. There's a little symbol there. Now maybe with your boomer eyes, I get it. You classified yourself as this, okay?
Well,
maybe with your boomer eyes you can't see it, but this is also just a general because you're not the only one who couldn't see it. Tashira couldn't see it, and she's not a boomer.
You. She's not a boomer.
Also, I think you gotta try it a little harder because there are only two buttons on it.
Let me tell you how hard I tried.
Yeah, let's be real.
I put on the rubber gloves, and I felt gingerly around each of the edges everywhere. And I did this for like 15 minutes, and your dad is like, "What are you doing?" And of course, he couldn't find it either. So,
Mom, it's right. I've showed you before.
Okay. I'm going to try it again this week. I want to try some racing
I think you'll like
games.
racing games.
I think I will too. Because all that fighting, killing, blood, blah,
Oh, you're going to hate the game I'm talking about then.
So, okay, next time you do this, okay, I'm going to come over. I just want to watch you do it for like 30 minutes. And then when you've resigned yourself, I'll show you where the button is that is clearly on the
Wait,
front
I
of
have
the
a
machine.
question. And if you said this already, I'm sorry. What game were you trying to play? Do you even know?
I don't know.
like,
I
what
couldn't
game
get
you-
in to see which one.
There's Drive Club on there. There's Need for Speed.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
lots
okay,
of
she's got
games.
plenty.
There's
Oh,
Burnout.
okay,
I think the Burnout Paradise is on there.
It's like having a table full of food, but a glass window between you and that table. I just couldn't get to it.
If you get into the racing games, I think, especially because that area is kind of big, you should. If you really like them, you should get one a racing chair, because then you can drive
that's
like
a
a
good
real
idea.
car. Like you have a steering wheel and your pedals, and you can have your brakes and all that, and you can drive it like it's a real car. Because that when you drive like that, it's super fun. Because it's like I don't have a $250,000 car or a $500,000 car or $1 million car, but now I do, and then that's pretty fun.
I'll consider that
think- I
once
think
I
you,
find the button.
I think you'll like. Yeah, when you find the button, you'll like the games. I promise. It'll probably because I don't know. I love racing games. I can play those for hours. So,
Speaking of
you,
racing,
Yeah.
Blanca started driving recently.
Yay,
Great.
that's fun. How's that going for you?
We're doing lessons. I see myself as somewhat of a teacher from the stars. You ever want all those religions about aliens coming down and teaching people stuff, and like that's how we built the pyramids, or that's how people learn the circumcised stuff. That's me, except I'm the alien. Bringing
You kind of lost me there halfway.
this
but I
worldly
get what you mean,
knowledge
yeah.
down. Huh? What do you mean?
You kind of lost me in there. Nothing. Keep going. You're good. Yeah. That's what I was
Anyway,
talking about,
maybe
yeah.
you guys don't know your history. I don't know. But anyway, that's
Is that
me.
how you
and
think the pyramids got here?
No, I'm just saying people believe those kind of things. There are like literally a dozen religions that believe some aliens were stranded here, or they came and visited, or they came and brought some. Just watch Joe Rogan. I'm sure you'll hear about it somewhere out there. And they came and they told us something or showed us something. That's how we did amazing things, like build the pyramids or live in icy parts of the world or something.
That's insane. This is
But what about
ridiculous.
that and you teaching Kalani?
I'm the alien.
Okay.
That was the point.
Got you.
Okay. Sure.
Anyway, yeah. Also, 1 times 1 does not equal 2. All right. I know that's something Joe Roganites are talking about these days. but
That's
it's
Terrence
just-
Howard.
I'm
Well, he
sorry,
went on
bro.
Joe
Yeah.
Rogan, and Joe Rogan was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I think last week,
Bro, their CTE just combined, and they just
Action
they just went on a
Bronson
journey
came on,
together.
and
That's
Action
insane.
Bronson was like, "It makes sense to me, dude." And Joe Rogan said, and I quote unquote because this is not exactly how he said it, but this is what he said. He said, I'm not sure, but he's got to be right about some part of it because he's so smart." Like, no, 1 times 1 is not 2.
No,
Sorry,
it's really
Terrence.
not. Like I don't know how else to.
I mean,
Well,
I
yeah,
think
Terrence,
it's.
he's been on a roll. Every time he has an interview, it's just something new. I don't. Know
I think
what
it's
he's doing. I
great
don't
that
know.
he wants to be like super smart and think out these things and stuff. But then you have to also incorporate other things. Like he's just sitting in the armchair thinking when you need to go outside, because 1 times 1 is 1, my brother. Oh my God.
And he also created the patent to initiate VR world years ago. So
Yeah, it was him. He did it. I totally believe him. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
What? So
sure,
is he
whatever-
like? Is
whatever he
Meta
said.
paying him? And
no one is paying him.
yeah, I think there's a reason. Because he didn't
Yeah,
do it.
I think he might be stupid. I'm not too sure. Though.
I don't think I think he's full of himself. Like, that's just like, you think you're way smarter than you actually are. Yeah, I think he's just fooling himself. I don't think he's an idiot. Because, I think it's great for people to think, like, he wrote a whole paper and while these make sense. But then, like, if you don't know, like, a speck of information about a topic, it could crumble your whole foundation, right? So maybe that's what.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't know, I don't know, multiplication. Maybe he just didn't pick that up. And so now his whole world is built off of.
I think he associates that with physics and says, how can you have one thing in the world and energy go from 1 to 0?
All right, bro.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
he's not
He's
not
doing
understanding
too
the
much. He's doing too
concept
much.
of numbers and the concept
Numbers
of,
and energy, not exactly the same.
exactly. But he is saying that they're the
Wait,
same.
do we have a Terrence Howard truther in the
No,
podcast?
but that's what he's saying. He's saying they are the same. So how can 1 times 1 be 1 if we cannot do that with anything? Because 1 times 1 is a concept. Numbers are a concept attached to reality. Multiplication is a concept attached to reality. So when you say 1 times 1, you're saying 1 of something. That is it. He says other things
I'm
you
sorry.
you can't square or multiply something by itself and it is less than itself. What are you talking about? 0.5 times 0.5 is not more than 0.5. It's 0.25. Like all you had to do was like think an extra step further. Like maybe you're wrong. He's wrong.
Yeah,
He just doesn't know.
his 1 times
but-
0 is the.
But I think that he's a good signifier of what's wrong with a lot of people these days. They think that they're just smarter than other people. So they're like, that rule doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, hold on. I
because
think
I've
I'm
deci-
smarter
I've
than
decided.
we
I've
know.
decided. Well, it's different though. You actually live within this realm though, at least 80% of the time. Like there are people who like, I feel like they're just like him. They're like, this math doesn't make sense. Here's my version of math. And people will tell them like, wow, you made your own logic system, so this must be true. And it's like, no, you just made a new math, which that doesn't mean it's right. It means it's wrong, if
Oh.
anything.
Then he's
So
just a Republican.
Oh, okay. Come on, guys. That is not fair to
Chevar,
Republicans.
Chevar, no.
That's
Pause,
not
pause.
fair to
Mom got
Republicans.
Mom got exactly what I was going for. So that's perfect. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut
it's
you
just-
off, but
it's just-
that's what it is.
No, that's
Okay.
what it is. You're just a Republican.
That's too general because okay, look. I think Terrence Howard really believes what he believes. I don't believe half the Republicans believe what they say they believe. They're just trying to win. Like that.
I think
that's part of the game.
I think you have too much faith in Republicans. Then they're not. very smart.
Nah. Come on, dog. Nah,
Chevar,
come on.
I'm
Yeah,
not
sure.
talking about-
Sure.
Okay,
Some of them
but the
believe about
Republicans you're
Pizzagate
talking
and all
about-
this stuff, but
The
you
Republicans
can't.
you're talking about, Chevar, they got out of politics a while ago. They left because all this
Nah,
Trump shit
they're
made
still
them
there.
feel gross. No,
They're
some of
still
them
there.
are because they're too senile to leave. But the other ones, like, they believe this. Like they believe this. I don't think that any of this, like all the stuff about them thinking that, the kids are getting groomed or whatever at school, they believe this stuff. They think it's real.
But not like I can't say they're all Terrence Howards. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
No,
I think
they're
Terrence-
not. And I'm
I think
sorry
Terrence
brought
Howard.
that up.
Yeah, because that's not that's not fair to our fellow Texans who we're surrounded with. Okay,
Because all of that is just about theatrics and drama, and everybody thinks they're the apprentice, So I think that's what that is, drama.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
outside of-
Especially Terrence Howard. He is the drama king, so.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that's him.
let's
That's
leave
his
him
whole-
where
Remember
he
when he
is.
said he was going to retire from acting, and then he did several more movies after that?
He did.
Fun times.
He's insane now.
well, he
I'm
was
sorry.
upset about the Iron Man thing.
Yes,
That's
he
what that whole
was.
thing was about.
And I think that pushed him over the edge.
Still though, because I remember that. No, because I remember that interview was way after. It was like a decade after Iron Man. Like he said this in like 2020. He said he was going to retire from acting. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about.
because he thought
Iron-
1 times 1 was going to take off.
Well, he kind of did. What was that show?
No, he's in a new
did?
movie coming up in like 2 months. It's called like
Yeah, it's got Kevin Hart
Black
and a
Lana
bunch
or
of other
something.
Black people in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the
Oh,
Black.
that I want to
Money-
see
yeah.
that one. Yeah.
I don't know because I watched the trailer and literally nothing. The first 30 seconds of the trailer is the same 3 clips played over and over from a different angle. I'm not. I don't know if I'm.
Like I said,
I think that one.
I
might be
think
cooked.
he
I don't know.
did retire from.
Okay.
He really.
I get
He
what you're throwing
really
down. I
wanted
get- I
that
get what you- I
Oscar
get what you're putting
for
down.
Hustle and Flow. He's like.
Yes, he did.
He's like.
He's
Do you
still
have to
thinking
give it to
about it.
Project Bat?
Yeah, he's still thinking
DJ
about that
Paul?
one. He's like, but I pretended to rap it. Can I? Can I get something out of this, please? Please?
Well, also outside of Terrence Howard and all that, I've been watching the Mavericks. Thank horses that they won last night. And this is the first time they played like they usually play. I don't know what's been going on. I don't know if it's just, but they've been playing like
horribly.
And it's one thing. It's like I don't know. They just played so bad, and then they still could have won all like the last two games. They were down
They came
by
back.
2 or down by 3, and then you leave it to like a foul call and something like how do you miss 60% of your free throws? What are we doing? Finally, they played last night. Like they've been playing the whole last 4 months. So it was nice to see.
They owned the court. It was wonderful.
Hopefully they keep it going. There's also the Euros started yesterday. I was watching that during work as well, which was not super fun because it was just blowouts. I think I stopped the Germany game halfway through. It was like 3-0 or something. So
That's disgusting.
Yeah. But FIFA's free on PlayStation Plus. This is a podcast about video games, and there's nothing we like to talk about more than video games. But, okay, listen, guys. We know we've been leaving you in a drought. So we've got the standard review of a movie from Mom, but she's brought the spice back. It's time for Mom's movie review.
This is Mom's Movie Corner, starring Mom.
Wow. Welcome back to Mom's Movie Review. So last week when I went to the movies, I said, what can I see that's not going to bore me to tears? So as I promised you, I went to the SHYMALLALLALLANLALLAN movie, and I attributed this to M. Night, and actually it's his daughter who actually directed this film, but it's probably him too. So
Nepo
here we
babies.
go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just Nepo babies. That's it.
Yeah, and
What's
and
her name?
Her name, I had it. I even said it last week.
We don't even know your name, kid.
It starts with an I. Ishana. Ishana Night Shyamalalala. And
Oh, God.
this is her directorial debut. And for a debut, she's done a very good job. That's why I thought her dad did it. So I wanted to do a little artistic twist on this one because it was,
With the twist.
yeah, it was. But let me say who the crew and cast were so that we're not overlooking all the good stuff here. And we had, again, all right. Cast and crew, of course, Dakota Fanning starred as Mina, Georgina Campbell as Sierra, Owen Ferrell as Madeline, Oliver Finnegan as Daniel, and Alistair Brammer as John. There are a few side people in there too, mothers and all that stuff. But it was a really interesting story about, and it's important that she's 28 years old because she's just kind of there. You get to a point in life sometimes you don't know which way to go, which way is up, down. You're just kind of stuck. And that's where Amina was in her life. And her life took a turn. So she had to deliver this lovely animal to a new owner. And she takes a trip. She's in Ireland, takes a trip. And her trip turns into a trip. So, Chevar, if you are ready, we can go into the actual review.
Okie dokie.
Everyone they take do to a mistake. Every smile they fake when they stay awake, watchers watching you. After dark, you're doomed. There's no light, no moon, no point of return. No one ever learned till they capture you. If you survive, you belong to them, and their full hearts ache with every change you make. The woods filled with leaves, forest thick as thieves. When you go so far on a hike or car, they are watching you. In the light, they're all gone without a trace. But late at night, they're all over the place. Just look around to see a familiar face. Don't be called if even not the case. They keep on screaming, help me, please. Shyamallallallallan, you did just okay. The Sixth Sense, it ain't, but it's better than a Taint. Every movie you make, I can sometimes take. Then you go so far and just miss the bar, so I'm watching you.
Okay.
And that was Watchers.
Did you say it's better than a Taint?
Yeah.
Chevar definitely. I thought Chevar wrote that line.
I didn't write none of this. This is all Mom's doing.
Oh man.
Yes,
my Lord.
I write my own materials, but I can't take credit for the music. Definitely karaoke background, not mine. So I would recommend Watchers just for a summer movie. Like I said, it's no Sixth Sense, and I guess I never should have seen that movie until like 6 movies in, because once I saw The Sixth Sense, M. Night could never recapture that again. And of course, this is Ashana. This is his daughter. We never know what's in store. She may actually capture that magic all over again. But overall, it was a good movie. I give it 1 tub of popcorn, 1 big soda, and I'll probably see it again somewhere down the line. There were some really interesting parts. I have to say, it was inventive. It was based on a book. It wasn't just something that was made up. And I don't know how true it was to the book, but there's a lot of lore and, fairies and angels that came down, all that stuff. So it's a really interesting watch. I don't know how horrific it is, but there are moments when there are jumping moments, and I think you'll enjoy it. So this week's Watchers, watch it.
All right. Thank you for the review. I just have, what do you think are his best movies? M. Night Shyamalan. Because Sixth Sense, it's a classic. Everyone.
That's a good one. I feel like that's
one.
really his good movie. Oh boy, that's a struggle because I really don't know.
He had Old.
Was that good though?
Was that
Did you
good?
say that's good?
I'm just naming them.
I said good. What are his best movies? That's not good. He's got he's got another movie coming out like next month. Trapped or something like that.
Yes.
So,
That's it. So he always has these one name movies, and now I guess his daughter is following Unbreakable.
I'm
Signs.
not gonna lie.
but what are his good ones? That's what I'm saying.
I'm looking at his track record, right? Like I'm on IMDb. I didn't know he was a producer on Knock at the Cabin, right? So his last directing.
Yeah.
When was your last director? When is
Old. That was his last one.
I think Old is the last one, and Trap is the newest one coming.
Before that, it was like Glass.
Yeah.
Split.
Okay.
I like the Unbreakable series. I thought that was fun. I think Split's the best one, and I think it's done. I think McAvoy carries that movie. Yeah. He's it's that's the best one. But I like that whole series. Sixth Sense is okay.
Wayward. Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought
The
he
Village.
did Pines. He only directed one episode.
I think The Village is a decent movie.
Okay, so I would compare The Watchers to that. I think The Village was decent.
Okay,
I thought The Village sucked.
One thing with The Village is it.
Are y'all? Can y'all hear me?
I think yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then just keep talking. Never mind.
I think one thing with The Village is that it relies too much, and don't spoil the movie because Kalani hasn't seen it and she wants to. So, but it relies too much on the twist.
She doesn't listen. That's because he couldn't get it back together, after The Sixth Sense. If you notice, all of these movies are like one word. Glass.
Yeah, I don't think. I think.
Okay, but listen, all right.
I mean, Lady in the Water. There's literally like 8 words right there.
Okay, and I know he did that. Lady in the Water. He did that trying to recapture The Sixth Sense. 3 words, but he can't do it.
But Mom, his last movie was called A Knock at the Cabin.
I know he was trying to add more words so he could have a better movie. It didn't. No, I didn't see Knock at the Cabin.
He did Stuart Little.
Oh, that's his best movie.
That's
his
best
movie
so.
for sure.
He did
That's
That's
far.
He did
away.
She's
two.
All That. She's All That. I mean, that's a pretty popular movie. I mean, it's not my kind of movie, but
After Earth, everybody liked that movie, right? Oh God, I forgot he made The Last Airbender. That movie fucking sucked. Ah man, that movie sucked.
Yeah, it did.
We walked out of that movie. That movie was terrible.
Signs was going somewhere, and
it showed signs of being okay.
Yeah.
I never heard of Praying with Anger. That was his first movie, 1992.
Well,
But anyway, it's not about him. It's about Ishana. So good job. First time out, rookie, preview, pilot. Good job.
okay. Well, great. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for the review. Thank you for the song.
This is Mom's Movie Corner, starring
Alrighty. Well, there's a lot of things that happen in the world. New things. These are things we call the news. Hey, I'm coming up with a catchphrase for opening the news. How was that one? What would you rate that out of 1 to M. Night
You don't wanna
Shyamalan?
You don't want to know.
Okay, so that one's not catching on.
M. Night.
Mom. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll come up with another one next week. We'll have a good, phrase to open. But besides that, let's talk about new things happening in the games of world of games. So last week we had Summer Games, and this week we had more kind of like a continuation of that. We had an Xbox show, and we had reveals for things and lots of stuff going on. And so I think to me, one of the bigger things that was kind of, to me, the view of this changed a lot was the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater trailer coming out and David Hayter participating in all these things for the game, which I think has put people in a better mood. What did you think about this here, Biko?
Yeah, so the trailer was good. It focused mostly on gameplay, which I appreciated because I don't need to see. I get it, the graphics are better. I get it. Cool. Don't really care about that part. I just want to see if the gameplay is good, and it looks good. It looks like there were some details that released about it. There'll be a few different ways to play. Specifically, like there's going to be like a behind the shoulder camera perspective. And then there's also going to be like the standard, like how the game was originally played, original Metal Gear Solid 3. It looks good. I'm surprised. I don't know. I kind of expected Konami to like shit the bed with this one, but it looks really good. The trailer was really good. The faces look. I feel like they did a good job with the art style because it still looks like Metal Gear Solid 3. It just looks like they added a lot more detail to it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but people were acting really weird about Boss's face, even though that's exactly how Boss looked in the original game. I don't know what game people were playing or if they were playing it with one hand, like Chevar said. But looked good. I do think it's funny that Xbox is doing all the promo for this, considering it's not Xbox exclusive. It is going to be on Game Pass, but it is going to be on like everything except Switch, like most things. So looks good. I do think I'm glad for David Hayter. I know he was kind of left out in the cold on the last like few official Metal Gear Solid games before they started doing the remake. So yeah, I went from being something that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna buy this or not, to like, okay, this looks solid. They're also gonna have the what people affectionately refer to as the piss filter. You can play the game how it used to look, where it was just yellow as hell. They're gonna let you do that too, and it is the original audio tracks. So like, they did have to like have the actors come in and re-record some pickups, but for the most part it's the same audio. They just touched it up. So I think it's cool. I think it's a good remake. This is kind of what I prefer to see from remakes, not so much as what's going on with Silent Hill. So yeah, looks great. And then they also just confirmed they didn't do anything to the story. It's the exact same story. So it's cool that people get to experience this for the first time. The original game is still it still holds up really well, and you can play it now on every console pretty much, but this remake looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Look at that, Mom. Mom, hey, look at that. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, we didn't talk about my game, by the way. We can do that later, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do it halfway through the news. We gotta break these things up. Can't just inundate people with all these great segments. Anyway, yeah, I thought the trailer looked good. It looks like how I'd want a remake of that game to look. One thing about it is that it makes me feel like they want to do all of them, but they're going to do them chronologically to some extent. I don't know if they're going to get the PSP games in there. You know what I mean?
Is this really the game or just a storyline?
This is the game.
Really?
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
And it's a very good
front mom games have been looking like this for like a few years now, but
it's a good game too. So I'm excited for it. I'm definitely gonna get it and play it and play that whole thing. I think I've only been 3 like twice or something, but I think the story in this one, the environment, it's a really good game. It looks nice. I like David Hayter's involved again.
Look at his hair.
Yeah. And you
good.
can eat snakes. It's a good game.
Yeah,
Snake
it's going to be all the same mechanics. It's kind of cool. And there's like I think it says like there's like permanent damage. So like, if you get hurt, you kind of have to, like, your character looks a certain way for the rest of the game. There's some stuff that I am wondering how they're going to translate it. Like if they're probably going to get rid of that mini game that happens if you like save before a certain point and then reload. I do wonder how some of that funky Kojima stuff will work, but it should be fine. I'm sure it'll translate.
Yeah, I am kind of bummed Kojima isn't involved, because I'm sure there's so much he'd like to put in here, right? Because every time he does get a chance to do like an extra thing or whatever, he changes quite a bit. Like with the Metal Gear Solid 2, and the things that happened and when he got to re-release it and add stuff. So it's too bad he's not involved, but hopefully Konami just kind of gives us what it looks like they're giving us and keeps doing that, because they've kind of had a bad track record with games in general. So going back to something like this, giving us a Resident Evil type of remake for it, I think is the way to go.
Now, see,
I think
this
it's very
is what
interesting
I'm used
that
to.
I think it's weird that they went back to 3 specifically. I think
I think they're going
3 is like the
chronological.
one a lot of people like. Oh, okay. So yeah, so the next one will probably be 1. Okay, no, that does make sense. I mean, that's,
Or
that's
you'll
what they
get-
call it Delta, right?
Or you'll get something like 1 special or something. It'll be like 1 plus VR mission plus, because there's a lot that actually happens between 3 and 1. There are like 4 games in between there that came out, after those games came out. So they might do some, they'll do Metal Gear Solid 1, but it'll have, I don't know, Peacemaker in it or VR missions or something with it. And then they'll do 2, and 4 is the last one, which will be like, if they redo 4 is one of my absolute favorite experiences playing a video game ever. If they redo 4, that's going to be like literally a 50-hour cutscene game. It's going to be crazy.
It'll be. I think they should redo 4 because I think 4 is the one people want to replay the most. Me personally, I want to replay 4. I feel like 4, if they remade that would be great because it's almost hard. It's hard to play if you don't have a PS3 right now. But I don't know. I think, listen, Konami, you might be in my good graces if you keep this up, because this kind of looks like a Phantom Pain a little bit. But I wonder if it's even the same. I don't think it's the same engine because this is Unreal Engine 5, right?
Yeah, I think so. But you can build out of it, But yeah, we'll see.
No.
I think it looks good. Mom right now is watching Final Combat, so she's seeing the same thing again.
Yeah, she ain't paying attention.
Well,
All
no,
right.
I am
Well,
paying
yeah.
attention.
Metal Gear looks good. It looks good.
Metal Gear looks
I'm more
great.
excited about this than I was.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Round 2. Fight.
So outside of that, we also got Doom. So we're getting another Doom game, which is, I think, for Doom is great. With as long as we had Doom 3 be the Doom, that I think people's like view of Doom 3 is very skewed as to what it actually was at the time. Doom 3 turned a lot of people off to Doom because it went to horror, but Doom 3 was also massively popular and successful. It's just after Doom 3, there was kind of nothing for so long, and then we got a Doom, just like Doom, and now they're just kicking off with more Doom. So tell us about this new Doom, Biko.
Right. So I think that this is. I'm confused, not confused, but I'm not sure whether or not this is a sequel to the last one or not. I think it might be a prequel, but I'm pretty sure it's a sequel. But yeah, Doom lore got kind of crazy. He was murdering everything in Eternal.
It's a
But
prequel.
It's a prequel. Okay, cool. Yeah, we don't really know exactly what the story is in this one, but I will say these last few Doom games have been really good. Last 2 specifically, Doom Eternal and the original one. Doom Eternal's DLC was really good as well. I know people like to say that it wasn't good, but it was really good. I think this looks great. This is kind of something that has been a concept for Doom for a while, kind of him going back to the Dark Ages or the medieval ages or whatever. So that part's cool. I think it is funny because I guess this is when he attacks heaven, which is kind of fun. But no, I'm excited for this. Once again, I think it's funny that Xbox is like the guys heading this, but it's coming to everything, right? Like, so it looks pretty good. I like me some Doom guy. He's always gonna be good at crushing skulls and shooting big ass guns. If you haven't played Doom or Doom Eternal, go check both of them out. I think Eternal's much better. Some people prefer the first one, but I think Eternal's really, really good. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this either. I thought that they were gonna take a couple more years off, but I guess it has been like 4 or 5 years.
Been a
since the
while,
last one.
yeah.
So yeah, I realized that Eternal came out in like 2019, I think. So yeah,
he's a big one.
It's been a minute. I do wonder though what they're gonna do to expand on the formula, because I kind of feel like the last game was kind of perfect. So I don't know. I wonder what'll make this one more than just like here's some more levels.
Ooh.
But then when you look back in the day, that's kind of what all new Doom games used to be, was just more levels. So maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll see what it is. I think it looks good, or at least looks decent. It looks like Doom. And if you like that type of game, which I think the reason I really liked the new Doom when I played it, it reminded me of was it Bulletstorm? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Bulletstorm. That's a good comparison. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
Bulletstorm reminds me of, those old Doom those old games, like the Doom, the what's the one with the Nazis, Wolfenstein, like that stuff was like we need more of that. That's just fun. It's just regular old fun. It's not. It doesn't have to innovate like super too much, but yeah, I like the first Doom. I didn't finish it. I only played it for like an hour or something, but I should go back
that
and
game.
for sure.
You should go back and play it. I think I beat the first one again like last year because I had it on PC. It's good. They're both really good. What I do like is they're making it more than just shooting stuff. I like that in this trailer he's using like the shield a lot.
Yeah.
I think that part's
and
interesting.
you can fly
He
apparently sometimes.
Yes, he can fly apparently. He needs more melee weapons, so I think him having a melee weapon is really good because, and I think he has a flail too at some point. Yeah, this is he's throwing it like Captain America. It's awesome.
And 3 times 1. Why is it 3? Yeah, that's a magic number.
The last one that was at least for me, looked exciting because it's one of the first games I played on the Xbox 360 when we finally got one of those, was Perfect Dark. I think Perfect Dark was super fun back then. I was so shocked like we didn't get more Perfect Dark because that was like the revival of Perfect Dark and it died immediately when it came back. But looking at this, I kind of have hopes that we get more Perfect Dark and it's a good game and it's something Xbox can lean on because right now they've got not very much.
Nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the only exclusive game that was shown at one of the only exclusive games that they've shown. This is the only exclusive one we're talking about today. Yeah, so we haven't seen Joanna Dark in, like Chevar said, like a couple decades. They have not touched this series since the launch of Xbox 360.
It's gotta be literally 20 years or something.
No, it has been like almost 20 years. I think it was like 2005, the last time the last one came out. So I think that Perfect Dark Zero is interesting because that was the original one. This new one is just called Perfect Dark, like the original one that was on N64. It's just called Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark Zero on the 360 is interesting though because the game didn't like do bad. It just didn't do stellar, right? It didn't do everything they wanted it to do because people bought it. It wasn't like it was a flop, right? Like a lot of people bought that as one of their first
it was one of the
games,
only games to buy.
Yes, exactly. So it's interesting they took so long to do something with it, especially because people have been begging them to do more stuff with Rare properties because they bought Rare and then proceeded to like sit them down and do almost nothing with them these past couple decades. But I do like where this one's going because from the trailer, it seems like it's more of like a Deus Ex, like, immersive sim kind of thing, less than like just a straight up first person shooter, which is interesting because for people who never played Perfect Dark, that's kind of what it is. It's like a GoldenEye. It actually spawned from GoldenEye. It's very like arcadey shooter type of thing. This one does not look like it's trying to be that. It looks like it's a full on reboot of the Perfect Dark series. You actually are like doing more spy stuff. There's a lot of like jumping. There's a lot of like sneaking. You're like investigating a lot of things. Like it's a lot more like action, like interaction heavy than the other ones where you just started a level and then shot people. Maybe did a little stealth, but you mostly just shot people and did a couple puzzles. So I think that this is a surprise. I wasn't expecting this at all, and it looks great. It looks really good. The gameplay looks like it's interesting. Thank you for actually showing gameplay of something like this because I think if I just got a cinematic trailer, I would have just been bored to tears. So it's cool that like they're taking it somewhere else. Like right, it's cool that it's not just yeah, it's Perfect Dark and we got guns, but I am interested to see if they do anything as far as multiplayer.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean, you definitely can, of course. Abilities there. But I don't know, maybe they're focused on the single player. It to me it kind of looks like a Deus Ex type of experience they're going for, but I don't see why you wouldn't go multiplayer, because that also is part of the Perfect Dark formula, is a multiplayer mode, local or online or whatever, and going around shooting guys. But we'll see. I mean, Xbox kind of lets us down. They're exclusives, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, so Chevar, I completely missed this. There's a new Gears game coming out.
You mean Gears
of War?
War?
Yeah, I feel like this is not really I haven't really seen anybody talking about this either.
No,
but
there's not a new
E-Day.
Gears game.
It's go look it up. Gears of War E-Day. It's no shit. It's like when Marcus and Dom went through E-Day, which why has nobody even talking about? I feel like I haven't seen anybody actually speaking about.
No,
this,
me neither.
This is pretty.
Gears of War is one of the best and most underrated video game series going on today, because in that first game, they established so much history and lore, and I mean, there's so much they did right with Gears of War, the first one.
There is a targeted release date in 2025.
Yeah, it's on the screen
I'm
if you want to
shocked.
see it, Mom.
Well, I'm kind of mad. Why didn't anybody?
This should be
I
their
feel like
big
this wasn't
thing.
hyped up enough. This should have been their big announcement, and they didn't do that. I feel like that's a really bad.
I don't know. Maybe
choice.
we just missed it. Maybe we're just losing.
I
It
feel
wasn't
like
on
we
that
did just
show
miss
thing
it.
last week. All right.
No, it wasn't.
No, it
but
wasn't
they
at
had
Summer
another
Games
show.
Fest. They should have put that at Summer Game Fest though. Why would you
Right.
say See, and this is what we mean. Me and Chevar talk about. Xbox has no idea what they're doing. This is their longest standing original franchise besides Halo. And the last Halo flopped, so we don't even know when that's gonna get another sequel. And you don't and this first of all, and also this is funny, it's them going back to the origins. They're going all the way back. We've never seen E-Day before, except in flashbacks.
Yeah,
So
we haven't
I think
seen.
it's interesting that they're gonna go back to Marcus and Dom, because Dom's dead in the original timeline. He died in Gears of War 3. But yeah, I just heard nothing about it. That's kind of crazy.
It's just wild to me that they're not. This should be their big thing. Maybe it's, I don't know. Even Gears, Gears fits into. Okay, it's a great single player experience. 2, it is, it's a great esport. The multiplayer is fun. The story is pretty good. I mean, the story is. It's not the most amazing thing ever, but when you play the games,
it's a solid video game story.
It's very solid, and there's so much lore around it, and they don't give it any attention. Gears of War is, they should be putting all of their get people to play this game. It's really good. I don't have. It's one of the only things I'd get an Xbox for is Gears of War, but I don't need to because it's on PC.
What'd you say? Sorry, is it?
I don't need to.
know.
It's on PC.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is. That's the thing about all these Xbox games that's killing me, because PlayStation's starting to do this, but they're doing it in a way where it's not the same day, but
not even the same
Xbox
year,
is
bro.
releasing all their it's not even the same. Yeah, they wait a few years. For instance, Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok's coming to PC this year. That game came out 2 years ago, so they're at least spacing it out. Xbox is just throwing all their shit on PC immediately, which I don't think that's a good idea. But
well, now they can't stop because they tied themselves so heavily with this is Xbox, this is Microsoft. It's gonna go on the thing, which does make sense because you're Windows, you have all this stuff. But then it's why sell a console because you can't do the thing it's the most powerful console if it doesn't run games the same way or as well, or if you don't have the studios and relation, it's I don't know. I think they're still going about it wrong, but they can't not put them on PC now because that's so much of their market now. Because
They're screwed.
they've pushed toward that. But then, like I said before, PC community is not like a console community. When you have a PlayStation or Xbox, and you just beat a game, you want to play something else, you go see what other PC and Xbox people are playing, and that big thing or whatever, and you go get it. Like, or Xbox or PlayStation, I mean. When you're on PC, it's kind of not like, there's just such a sea of stuff. And then if you have an Xbox, the next thing you're going to play is an Xbox game. If you have PlayStation, the next thing you're going to play is a PlayStation game. When you have a PC, you just got this wide sea of stuff to go play. So if somebody played your game and bought it, great. When they're done with that, they're not necessarily going to play another one of your things or go do something that's going to help your ecosystem. They could get anything. If they buy an indie game or something else, that doesn't help you as Xbox at all. But if they have an Xbox or PlayStation, they buy an indie game, that's on your store. If they, you know what I mean? Like, you're letting people leak out. So, like, you're this small part of this giant ecosystem instead of having your own, which I think is not smart. Which is why Nintendo does things the way they do. Like, if you're going to buy a Nintendo game and play it and finish it, what's the next thing you're going to play? A Nintendo game. And where are you going to you're going to buy it on your Switch. You're not going to,
And Xbox doesn't have that. So these games look good. It's just like, I can't wait to play them on my other thing that isn't an Xbox.
Right.
Well, let's go ahead and go ahead.
While we're talking about games, you got some backlog for us, Biko?
Yes, I do. I have a lot. I have backlog. I have a lot of games that I buy that I don't ever get to. I don't even want to look at how many games are in my Steam library. It's kind of getting disgusting at this point. I actually bought 3 games like yesterday. One of them was new though, at least. But today I'm talking about a game that is in my backlog, both on Steam. Again, this happened last year too. Last week too with Roller Drome, which I finished, by the way. Fantastic game. I was only a few hours away from finishing it. The difficulty picks up, but once you get the hang of it, that game is buttery smooth and fun. But this week, I'm talking about Ruiner for the backlog. So,
ooh, this sounds familiar. Hold on. Let me think.
Yeah.
Because I think this is in my backlog. Is this a game about going up and down something? Is it with a different camera angle than normal? And it's action packed.
Yes, you described it actually like pretty like.
Okay, I'm pretty sure
pretty generically. You did describe it like you did.
I'm pretty sure I have
this
game
pretty nicely. So this is it's a game developed by Raycon Games, Reikon, not Raycon like Ray J, and published by Devolver Digital. I like most of the games Devolver Digital publishes. This is a game that Chevar bought it a while ago. This came out in 2020, by the way. Well, no, sorry. This came out on PS4 in 2017, and then it came out on Switch in 2020. Sorry, my bad. But Chevar bought this not that long ago. It was on sale, and I hadn't gotten around to it yet, but I figured I'd get around to it. It was also in a Humble Bundle from sometime last year. So, Ruiner. It's a cyberpunk based like isometric game. I think the simplest way I could describe it is Hotline Miami, but 3D. Like almost to a T. I will say it's not nearly as difficult, although I'm only playing on the normal difficulty. But generally, the gameplay is they put you on. The game starts immediately, so they eventually do let you know like what's happening as far as the story. But at first, you just dropped into this arena. All you have is this repeat message that says "kill boss, kill boss, kill boss," and you're armed with a crowbar and whatever gun you can pick up. Right. So your main weapon is guns and a melee weapon. So in this cyberpunk world, eventually you realize that you were hacked and these guys took your brother. So you're going on a mission to get your brother back. Most of the game takes place within pretty long, like, sections of it's like stages, right? So you go from room to room. In between rooms, there's different chests you can pick up. You can pick up different weapons. After different rooms where you kill everybody, you can like grind all the weapons down for experience, or get a new weapon from all the weapons you grinded down. But yeah, so in between the levels, there's these hub areas where you're able to explore, kind of get some more lore, get some side missions. Like there's one side mission where you have to die 50 times, which I'm proud to say I have not completed it because I haven't died 50 times quite yet. There's also like people have given you a few fetch quests, like saying, hey, after you get to this point, come back to me. But the atmosphere of this game is really what does it. It's very grimy, grimy cyberpunk. I think cyberpunk is the best way to describe it. It's like a quintessential cyberpunk. A cyberpunk to some people is just like sometimes like, oh, a lot of tech stuff, but I think it's kind of like also a lot of grimy, like, really like dark stuff around all of the cyberpunk aesthetic stuff, right? So it's not just, tech, but it's also like seedy underbelly of, criminal organizations and stuff like that. So the organization you're trying to take down is called Heaven. They call themselves Heaven, but they're really like the corporate overlords, basically. They control all their surveillance. They control pretty much everything. And they also took your brother. We don't know why. Kind of the way the game this is where I kind of think it also borrows from Hotline Miami and the movie Drive. Is you're kind of like a nameless protagonist. You don't know who you are, but you just follow orders. You don't know exactly what's going on, but you will follow the order that this lady who's hacking you is giving you, right? You don't even know her name. Actually, your character just refers to her as her after she tells you that they took your brother and she's going to help you. So I really like the moment-to-moment gameplay of this game. It's pretty solid. Like I said, they drop you into a room, enemies flood the room. The enemies are no joke. They also have guns. They have melee weapons. As you progress through the game, they get a lot more difficult to fight because they get shields. They get to dash around too. They do a lot of damage. They start getting miniguns and stuff, but luckily you can use their guns. So just like Hotline Miami, you just have to kill the people and then boom, you get graded on how you did in that room. Unlike Hotline Miami, though, it's not a one-touch kill type of thing. You don't die instantly, but if you get overwhelmed, you can die. I feel like that's my main thing about this game. Like my main problem is it's not very difficult. I've died less than 10 times so far. I'm almost towards the end of the game. I'm like really close to the end. Which is to say, another thing, this game is not very long. I would say it's max like 5 or 6 hours. You can probably knock this out in a weekend if you wanted to, which is really cool. So it's got like this twin stick shooter thing. It's also very gory. There's just giblets flying all over the place. When you execute people, you can he kicks their heads off or like shoots their head so hard it like flies off screen, or when the guy's laying on the ground, he like jumps on top of them and they explode. It's like cartoonish, almost like how gory it is, right? It's never something that's so visceral that you're like, yuck, I don't want to play this anymore. Which is another thing. It's not like Hotline Miami, right? Like Hotline Miami kind of tried to gross you out. This game is kind of just like, yeah, it's gory. This is what we do. So it's a good game, but it has its shortcomings. One, the cutscenes are very weird. Some of them are in 3D, some of them are in-game engine, and they kind of move the camera around, and you kind of see that the game isn't very good looking. It's not a great looking game when you zoom in on the character models, because like I said, it's on an isometric perspective, so it's like in the air, like kind of at an angle, so you're not really like seeing everything up close. But on top of that, they also have like drawn portraits of all the characters. So when there's dialogue and they talk between each other, it's just like think like Persona or something like that. Like a portrait pops up and words pop up at the bottom of the screen. There's no voice acting. There's occasionally some dialogue, but there's no voice acting, which is kind of a disappointment because the game really does build a really good. It builds a world around this cyberpunk like seedy world. I think it's called Rengkok, Rengkok. Which more cyberpunk stuff. It's got to be like Chinese, based or whatever. But yeah, that's my only thing about this game. The presentation itself is a little lackluster. There's no voice acting. There's no cutscenes. Sometimes there's not even like. There are cutscenes, but even in the cutscenes, sometimes there's no like sound effects. It's kind of lacking in that area, which was a little disappointing, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the game's fun. But you kind of get the gist of where the game's going as far as like the gameplay loop within like the first hour or two, because you unlock new abilities every time you level up. You level up by getting these like, you know, these little like nodes, and you can move the nodes around so you can change which upgrades you have, because you have several abilities you can switch between. Like you can hack enemies, you can throw grenades, you can stun enemies, you can slow down time, you can do a really heavy slash that, like, you know, takes out a group of people. You can have a shield up that when you dash into people, it kills them. You can put a shield down that you can shoot from behind. So like there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, is like changing your play style. But at the end of the day, you can also just run through and like smack dudes in the face and shoot them, right? Like it's not that complicated. So I really do dig this game. I think that this is like a solid like indie game to just like crack out in the weekend, just knock it out. I remember reading reviews about this game, being kind of harsh on it, giving it like 4s and 5s, and like maybe the highest score I saw was a 6. I think it's a pretty good game. I think that it is a nice like you know, dip into that cyberpunk world, and then you get out by the time, you know, it starts to overstay its welcome. Because I'm almost towards the end, and I'm like, all right, I kind of get what's going on.
So you haven't finished it
where
yet?
the story's going. No, I'm on the last level. I was actually on the last level before we started recording. So, I would recommend this game. I'm going to rate it a 3.5 out of 5. Which I think is, I don't care what anybody says. I think that's better than like a 5 or a 6. I know it equals a 6 or a 5, but don't talk to me. I think it's got potential, and it sucks because I don't think that the developers aren't working on this anymore, right? They've moved on to another game. They're working on a new game already. But I feel like this game would have been really great if it got a sequel, mostly because they could have fleshed out a lot of the lore, kind of explain how Heaven came to be the way it is, why some of these bigger players are there. But, you know, that's the other thing, is as it's explaining all of these things, sometimes the dialogue is just like, you know, bad. Like at first they start explaining things really well, and then sometimes just characters bickering at each other and nothing's really happening, which like isn't even adding color, because the character either dies 5 seconds later or they're not relevant at all to the, you know, story. I like I said, I do recommend this. It's only a few bucks most of the time. I think now this game goes on sale for like $5 or $6 a lot of the time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'll recommend that one. Ruiner, solid game. If it's in your library, you've been waiting to play it, go ahead and just play it. Like it's not going to take up too much of your time. You'll know instantly if you don't like it, and then you won't really be bothered to come back. Like it's one of those games that if you like the first hour or so, or the first 30 minutes, you're probably going to like the rest of the game.
Okay.
Next week, I'll be playing something completely different. There's a game that just came out called Fallen Aces from the New Blood production company. So for people who don't know, they're the guys who made what's it called, Ultra Kill, Dusk, all those like, you know, retro-ish games that have come out that have been like critically acclaimed. I really like Ultra Kill. I think it's a great game. But yeah, I went ahead and bought their newest game, Fallen Aces. It's a immersive simulation, like first-person shooter type of game, based around the mob. It's an early access. Episode 1 just came out, so I'll get back to y'all next week and let you know how that goes.
All right. Well, thanks for that. I saw the game. I haven't played it. I think it was cheap, so I got it. But you know, I'll try it out.
I dig it. I think it got kind of lost with that other game. I think the game was called like The Ascent or something like that. Because there are a lot of cyberpunk games that came out around that time that kind of overshadowed each other. It's a good game though. It's solid. It does what it's supposed to do. I really like that people have been inspired by Hotline Miami to do like, you know, different versions of that. So more games like that, please. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, but Hotline Miami is one of a kind, except for the second one. They made 2, so I guess
Hotline Miami 2 is incredible. That's a really good game. The last few levels are bullshit, but it's a good game.
And the story in those games is also, for a game that's just like little pixel guys with like little Grand Theft Auto 1, you know, bullets shooting around. It's pretty good. All right, well,
yeah.
Back to the news, okay? We got a couple other things, yeah? Got a couple other things here.
Do we get like a number 5 or 4 or something like that?
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Let's do it. All right.
So Yakuza's getting a TV show. I mean, this is bound to happen, especially with as popular as it's been getting.
Why did it take so long?
I mean, Takes time to do these things. But yeah,
Right,
it'll
so,
in October they'll release the first 3 episodes, and then the last 3 later.
And where do we find this?
It'll be on
Amazon.
Amazon Prime. I'm not like super excited to see whatever this is, because the fun of Yakuza is a little bit the wackiness and the little bit of the gameplay is kind of whatever, but it's never like a great story. Like, so if I'm watching the
I
show,
can
is
agree
it going to
with that.
be super like, is it going to be super wacky, or is it going to take itself seriously? And who's right? I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll look at it.
That's my thing. And also I think it's funny. It's called Like a Dragon: Yakuza, when the first game's called Yakuza Like a Dragon. So here's the thing. They've made this first game into a movie already several times, which is kind of funny. But now they're making it a series. What I like about Yakuza is the characters and their interactions, and like the things that happen around them don't really matter as much. Like, part of the reason that Kiryu works is because you kind of understand where he comes from as you play, Yakuza 0, Yakuza 1, Yakuza 2, and his interactions with all these weird things that happen. A lot of the sub stories are kind of what people remember most about these games. Like Chevar said, it's a very basic story. It's like soap opera-ish, like very absurd, but like you can kind of tell what's going to happen before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot. It will be in Japanese, by the way. It will be like subtitle gang for the rest of us in America, and it will be subbed too. It will be dubbed too. So if you want to listen to the English dub, that will be there when it comes out. But yeah, I agree with Chevar. The story for these games is not the reason that I think people are clinging to them, right? Like, even the newest game, the second newest game, whichever one, right? Yakuza 7 and 8. People play it because they like Ichiban, the guy who's the main character, and they like his like gang of friends. I have not heard people say, "Ooh, I need to play Yakuza 8 so I know what happens next." That's never the case.
Yeah, that's never
with these games. Like, there are people who don't even play every game because that's not what matters to them, right? So I'm kind of like, what's the point if they're not gonna at least add some of that like goofiness in, like you said? Because if we just go like for instance, like, listener, if you go on the YouTube and go Yakuza 1 all cutscenes, right? I think that's kind of what's gonna be, and I don't know about that, because the cutscenes in this game are decent and everything, but like, it's very one note, and
Also,
all of the stuff that happens in between is in like dialogue boxes, and some of that's the funniest stuff. Some of it's not even voice acted. So,
yeah. Also, it's
yeah.
like you said, it's a fully Japanese thing. So I don't know the director. They say who it is and whatever. I've never watched any of his movies.
Well, hand raised, but not a real Yakuza fan. Don't know much about him, but just in reading the article from Game Informer, it seems that the executive producer, Yama Masayoshi, when in his interview, he acknowledged the subjectivity of, players in the game and all the things that you're talking about, and really he's admitting in his interview that there really isn't a solid story, but he's just saying that you're going to experience the world. The games let you experience the world through subjective lenses, but the adaptation will be the ultimately objective way to enjoy the show. So I think they're counting on new people and not, I'm not saying they don't want the fans to watch. I just think they're saying we did it for the money.
No, yeah, and kind of what I got out of his quote too is that he's trying to make because part of what makes the Yakuza games, right? People who don't know, most of them take place in the same city. They all take place in Kamurocho. At some point, right? Like, even Yakuza 3, you go to Okinawa for a while, but then you eventually go back to Kamurocho. I don't know. I feel like he's saying that like they might do some stuff that's like, oh, it'll make like, the fans of the series be drawn to how it brings the games to life and adds new surprises. But like Mom's kind of said, like, I think it is just going to be like a fresh start for a lot of people. I don't know how in 6 episodes you fit in some of the stuff that makes Yakuza goofy. Like, and also, like, what are we going to talk? I don't know. Here's the thing, too, Chevar can attest to this. Some Yakuza cutscenes are just them talking.
Well, I'm not worried.
Happening. It's just yapping.
The adaptation is just that, right? But I'm more worried that when I look at this, okay, I see a director. I don't know what he does, but he's apparently a pretty popular Japanese director. I don't like Japanese shows and movies. And like there are some really good ones, but then I'd say there's so much that's bad. The two big top actors in the movie, they're children's actors. They're Kamen Rider actors, which that's not to say like, you know, it's different over there, right? How they do that stuff, but
your expectations, right?
Well, it's like, okay, you're gonna have these two guys acting in a show. What are they most known for? They dress up in, you know, Power Ranger outfits and jump around and do a voiceover over the thing. And like Kamen Rider, usually, not always, some of them are more adult oriented or whatever, but they're for kids. They're kids shows. And so now, like, I just don't know what the tone of the show is going to be. I just don't know if it's going to be written well or directed well, or if it's just going to be like another, you know, Japanese show that is copying from something else to just bring in people. Because, I mean, anybody can say whatever they want about that Dragon Ball movie that was made like 20 years ago. But
yeah,
however bad that was, Japan does the same thing to their own stuff 4 or 5 times a year. So like,
no, I can agree. I feel like this is not a high production type of thing. I think that's a good way of putting it. I don't expect too much from this, but also for what Yakuza is a series, I think they kind of do want something campier. So I'm not expecting too much. But
campy's fine. I just think it's gonna be done badly. That's all.
Yeah. Fair.
Well, more TV, all right? Look, we got Last of Us coming.
Ho, ho, ho! I've got 5 good reasons for you to shut up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5!
So season 2, I expected this because the game only goes, you know, there are only 2 games. Season 2 will be 7 episodes and won't cover the full games, and I think that makes sense in that the second game kind of feels like 3 games because it's pretty long, and it just wouldn't, TV wise, the way that game is structured would not make sense in the TV form. I just don't think it makes sense that way at all. It's kind of like when you The Boys just came back, right? And I've read all The Boys, and it's different. The show and the thing are different, but it's different. Yeah, but it's different because in a lot of ways that they are different, it needs to be. It just doesn't fit the medium. Even if like you wanted to keep the story closer, there's some things that happen in the books and the pace that they happen in the books and things that you couldn't have a TV show from it. It would just, maybe you could have like 30-minute 4 episode, you could cut those books down to like, but you don't. You adapt it and you make something new and different. I think with Last of Us, the way the second part 2 is, because it is a part 2, it is a direct continuation of what happens at the end of part 1. I don't think you do that. It's just one. You'd either have to make it really long, or you got to cut out these big chunks of things happening, because so much happens in that game, and it's about so many things.
Yeah, a lot. Because there's like 4 different characters you play as. There's an entire storyline that doesn't really pop up until like 2/3 into the game. Like, right. There's a lot. Like, and I feel like I'm wondering if they're gonna do it chronologically, because the thing about Last of Us 2 is there's a lot of flashback scenes that fill in the gaps between 1 and 2. Because spoiler for people who didn't play the first one or didn't watch the first season.
You don't spoil anything.
Yeah,
because Mom's here. She's super excited about the show.
Chill. I'm talking about the first game. Are you all even listening? I'm talking about the first one. Chill.
I mean, I don't think you have to spoil any. I mean, go ahead.
I was saying for people who hadn't listened to the first one. That's all I was saying. Y'all held guns to my head.
What?
But
Okay.
there's a lot of stuff that Ellie and Joel need to talk about, considering how the first thing ended. There you go. I won't spoil it, even though you guys already know what happens at the end of the first season.
Feel
Whatever.
spoiled?
But
You can put your headphones back on now.
there's no spoiler. She didn't have to take her headphones off. I wasn't gonna spoil anything because y'all aren't listening.
Well, what I like
Anyway.
about this... Oh, you talk. I'm sorry.
I didn't even finish talking.
God. I have my
Anyway,
headphones
Ellie
off.
and
I
Joel.
couldn't
Ellie
tell.
and Joel has a lot. Put your headphones on.
They're on.
Ellie and Joel have a lot to discuss, considering how the first game and the first season of the show ended. So I wonder if they're gonna take it from there and then jump forward after that, or if they're gonna start the game how the first game start the series how the first game starts. I also wonder if they're gonna split it between perspectives, and do like a whole Ellie season first and then a whole blank season for season 2. So I mean for part 2. So I don't know. I'm curious. I also only watched like a couple episodes of the first series, mostly because like I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like no shit. Maybe it's because I've been seeing the story for over a decade at this point, but it just does not intrigue me that much because I already know what happens. So I'm excited for people who don't know what happens to see how they react to the second game, because not going to go into details, but the second game is controversial to some people for specific reasons, very Metal Gear Solid 2 flavored reasons. So I get why they're splitting it up, but also it just reminded me, Last of Us 2 was a hefty game. That game is long. Like, so much happens in it. It's probably like twice as long as the first game. There's a lot of like flashbacks. There's a lot of going forward and backward in time. So I think that this is going to be hell to make into a TV show, but I think they can do it. I think it'll be good, but I'm really wondering how they're going to do the chronological order stuff. Why were y'all clapping? What's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I was trying to be helpful.
Okay.
All right.
I forgot
Okay.
my studio presence. Sorry.
Well,
I was
we'll
applauding
see.
for Biko. How's that?
Okay.
It's cool. I know y'all weren't listening. Let's go to the next thing.
I listened, and I'm excited for it. I actually watch it, so.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm assuming this will get to. I'm thinking at least a season 4. I don't even think a third season would be.
I know. I think it's 2 more. I think if they go further, they're going to be making stuff up. I think 2 seasons is enough, because that's the other thing too. Is just like the first season, there's some stuff you can cut out. You don't have to put every single little detail in there. Like, there's some stuff you don't really need to go over. Like all the like Dina, for instance. Like, she's important, but they don't need to do all the like. Let's go into shit. What's the Jewish church? Fuck. Whatever they call it, but like, let's they don't have to do all that stuff. Yeah, like
They're
there's
called
stuff like that
churches.
where like they don't have to. No, they're not called churches. They're called synagogues, dummy.
I said they're called
So-
Jurches.
Oh, God.
I know, and then you
Okay.
said they're called synagogues. Sure, yeah. Anyway, the point is they don't have to do all that stuff. There's some sections of that game that drag on for a long time that don't need to be dragged on like that. So.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear that Jeffrey Wright is going to be joining the cast. Jeffrey Wright from Westworld,
Oh, okay.
American Fiction.
Yeah.
I have no
we
idea.
know.
I have no idea who's going to be playing. Honestly, I have no clue who he's supposed to be playing.
Isaac.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I guess that was a character. Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho! I've got 5 good reasons
did
for
that?
you to shut up. 1, 2.
No,
Yeah,
not
no, you
6. I said 7. Nobody's coming up with 6. Who works out in 6 minutes? You won't even get your heart going, not even a mouse on a
I hate
wheel.
to tell you, Chevar, this is 7.
How's it 7? We did Yakuza was 4. Last of Us
No.
was 5.
That doesn't make okay. We didn't talk about Dragon Age yet. My bad.
Yeah, and we're doing Dragon Age, and we're gonna
Dragon Age, the Veilguard, which is originally called Dreadwolf, but they changed the name to the Veilguard. Actually, within the last couple weeks, they announced that. But it's the newest Dragon Age game. It has been 10 years since the last Dragon Age game. Yes, 10 full years since Chevar never played the last Dragon Age game.
Dog, I tried playing that game. I booted it up. I was in Japan. I was like, you know what? I got a whole bunch of nothing going on. I'm about to do me a favor and play me one of the greatest games people say has ever been put on an RPG table. And I opened that game up, and I was so disappointed. I'm like, am I missing? What is going on? It looks like trash. It feels like trash. I don't understand what's happening here. And I maybe gave it a good 10 hours. I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting it, but then I just moved on. I don't know. Dragon, it just did not click with me.
So you got stuck. So there's a thing people talk about in this game. The hinterlands is the first place you start. You cannot stay there. You have to spend like maybe 2 hours there. But the game isn't very good at letting you know, because it lets you know, but it doesn't tell you that like you can spend forever there. And that
so like when you leave, it says like, oh, game looks better now. Well, I mean, what happens?
Oh, so it's just graphics for you. Okay,
it wasn't just graphics. It looked bad. I felt like I was looking
graphics. Is the graphics not how it looks?
Can I tell you? You gonna tell me?
No, before you explain though, is graphics not how it looks? Is that not the same thing? I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused.
It's not just like how it looks. It's how everything moved. It's how like you're talking the cam. I just didn't click with me, man.
All right. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. You got stuck.
I didn't get stuck. I stopped playing it.
Yes, you got stuck. You said things didn't change even though you stayed in the same area for 10 hours. If I was in the same area of a game for 10 hours, I also would not. I would be afraid to say that I got stuck, but you got stuck.
If I go sit on a toilet for 10 minutes, so I say I'm stuck? No, I'm just here. I can get up and leave.
Apparently you are stuck.
That's not stuck.
So okay. I don't even remember what my original point is. Anyway, new game is out 10 years later. People still, for some reason, are thinking that this game is an RPG, even though this game has not been an RPG since the first one that came out like 20 years ago. But this is a follow-up almost directly to the previous game, Inquisition. Inquisition was solid. I liked it. It had a great story for the most part. But like most art games like this, the story wasn't the best part for real. It was mostly about the characters, a lot of which show back up in this game. So
why do you say it's not an RPG?
It's not, dude. It's an action game now. It's been an action game since the second one.
I know, but I mean,
it's an action game.
You still like level up and.
I mean, yeah, you do that in Final Fantasy 16 as well. I wouldn't call that an RPG.
That's an RPG.
It's an action game.
It's an action RPG.
As somebody who's played it, it's an action game. Yeah, it's an action RPG, heavier on the action though. Like that's what I'm trying to say. RPGs are more about like, not mashing buttons to do combos and stuff like that.
Well, I think RPG is just you build characters like in certain ways. You build a role for your character. I mean, even if it's
right. So Final Fantasy 16, you don't do any of that. I want to be clear about that. You don't build a role for your character at all. You press buttons. I'm not even saying this. I love Final Fantasy 16, but that's not an RPG. It's an action game. So this game is kind of following the same thread as those last two Dragon Age games. Dragon Age 1 was the last one where it was like you could do like, tactics type of things. You could like position your people and do specific things, kind of like a D&D game. Dragon Age 2 was more so hands-on, dungeon crawling through some of the same rooms over and over, and it was action-based. Inquisition, same thing. You can auto-attack, but most of the time you have to be pressing buttons, and you press a trigger to activate your special ability. I'm getting to it. Like, you don't even let me tell stories. You get halfway through and you go, I'm bored. Can you get to the point? So yeah, there's a new Dragon Age game. It's coming out next year. There you go. You can talk about the rest if you want to.
No, I get it. You're saying they're not RPGs anymore. I just want you to tell me about this one. What is? I mean, you're saying people still think they're RPGs.
Fall 2024.
Okay. Do we have any additional information for it?
I don't know. Do you want to let me finish my sentences?
Go ahead.
Right. So this next game is kind of leaning further into that. It's way more action based. There's a big, long, like 20-minute gameplay sequence that honestly, yeah, it just reminded me of Final Fantasy 16. It's almost directly like that. I think it's interesting because this does not look anything like the alpha footage we saw last year. That was a lot more behind the camera, like behind the shoulder camera. It looked a lot more, honestly, less RPG-ish. It looked like a straight up, like, you know, behind the shoulder, like action game, right? So this game still has the RPG elements, right? So getting to what I was trying to get to before Chevar kept interrupting me, these games have RPG elements. So you can like do potions and stuff like that. You can press triggers to like activate your abilities, but it's a lot more active battle system now. So the Veilguard is some years after the last game. I'd say it's been like maybe a decade or two after the last game, and you're dealing with the consequences of the end of the last game. This game is still leaning into the more casual RPG aspects. There's like only a couple dialogue choices. Think Fallout 4. And honestly, there's no open world aspect like there was before. They're set levels, which is interesting because the last couple games at least attempted to be like open world. Dragon Age Inquisition was open world. This game is going to be a series of levels. So I think it's interesting that they're still pitching this as an RPG because it's not. It's an action game that is based in the world of D&D / an RPG like fantasy like space, right? So the trailer starts off with you walking through town. You talk to a few people. There's a few cutscenes, but you don't really say much. You have a couple of times to do dialogue options, but there's not really like much interaction, which lends to my thing about this isn't really about building a role because half the shit just happens in front of you. So, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm kind of burnt out on Dragon Age, especially like I played a lot of the last one. I don't care if it came out 10 years ago. I played a lot of Inquisition. And still what matters most about this game is the side characters. So if there's no side missions for the side characters or anything like that, and it's just, dialogue options, I'm not sure about that because part of what makes the games fun is like, starting a relationship with a character or seeing how that affects your ending if you decide to side with this one place. And we haven't heard anything about that quite yet. It kind of has just been them saying, yeah, it's an action game. You have your companions, and you go through very linear, straightforward levels.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I didn't like the last one, so I don't have high expectations or anything like that. But
I still don't get what you didn't like about the last one. You said it didn't look good, and that was kind of it. You didn't like. What didn't you like about it?
I don't know. When you play and then you get into the fights and it just looks. It's just. I don't know. It just wasn't fun for me. It just wasn't. I just was not. I just was not feeling it. I tried. I did. Everyone says it's such a good game. It didn't click with me. I still thought it was an RPG. I don't necessarily agree with the leaning more towards action means it's not RPG, but
I don't know. To me personally, as the game goes on and you have less choices and there's less strategy, I think that lends to it no longer being a role-playing game. You're just playing a role, but like I feel like that's like calling Metal Gear Solid a role-playing game or calling Doom a role-playing game.
So in Dragon Age, you don't really have choices?
I mean, we'll see about this one. You did in Dragon Age Inquisition. So yeah, it is an RPG, but it's getting very actiony. It's not like it's not okay. Here's the thing, right? What people kind of expect from this game is more of like a Baldur's Gate 3 thing, where every single choice you make has some kind of effect on something somewhere. That has not been what Dragon Age has not been that since the first game. It's not an RPG in that aspect.
Well, yeah, but I just don't agree that that's the defining characteristic of an RPG. I mean, Mass Effect 1 was an RPG, but only a few of your choices really mattered. I mean, you can make a choice in every mission, but you know what I mean? Like, the action part is just, that's how the combat's designed. I mean, Baldur's Gate, I mean, that is action, that doesn't make it not an RPG. I mean, it's the most RPG-ish thing.
But you can do anything you want in Baldur's Gate. Like you can attack your friends if you want to. You can blow everybody up. You can there's no freedom in combat in that way. Like that's the thing that people expect from. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm saying that that's what people expect from these high fantasy RPGs, and that's not what Dragon Age is doing. It's just like you said, it's Mass Effect. Which, if you like Mass Effect, that's great. But if you don't like Mass Effect and you think that those games are very stilted and keep you in a box, then yeah.
Well, I mean, I
do it for you.
I guess. I mean, to me, it's like you're either on rails, you're completely free, or you're somewhere in between. And I think being in between is fine for an RPG. I mean, you can either play God of War, which is on rails. You can play.
I mean, God of War is.
Play Baldur's
God of War
Gate.
is just as much of an RPG as Final Fantasy 16, if we're gonna go that far, but.
Where you can, I mean, it is a bit of an RPG. I mean, it's more RPG than old God of Wars.
But like, that's the thing, though. So now you're saying that RPG is putting stats onto things and having numbers in front of you.
Well,
you don't make any choices in God of War.
You make builds. I don't think RPG is solely something for the narrative. I think it's also about how you play the game. If I'm playing a Devil May Cry game, right, I'm not really I'm buying moves or something, but I'm not really making a build. That's an action game. I'm using the coins and stuff I do and that's how you do it. You get coins from the game. But with an RPG, I use the experience I get or whatever it may be, and I build my character in a certain direction and not in other directions. That's what makes an RPG to me. I see Souls games as RPG games. I mean, they are. It's no different than Final Fantasy 1 through 6, except
I guess that's the easier way of putting it is that they're making it more simplified. It's incredibly simplified building. Like there's not really as much thought being put into it. It's you pick your class, and then your class has a few abilities, but it's not like the other classes, so you technically chose something. I feel like that's all that's really happening. There's not really any like Dragon's Dogma 2 is an RPG. But it's also very action based. But it's also a lot more choices to be made in that game. But it's Dragon Age. I'm kind of iffy on it. I watched the gameplay thing and it was cool, but like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't know. Like I don't want to just watch straightforward cutscenes about like, here's Varric just talking at me. Like I don't know. I'm good.
All right. Well. That's it for the news today, guys. Look, we got newsed out. Are you newsed out, Mom?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she hadn't talked in about an hour, so.
Yeah, dude.
Newsed out, absolutely new. So it's time for a game or some kind of comic relief here.
So okay. We're just gonna have an extra long episode this time. Okay, that's just you guys just do not know how to shut those traps. Okay, guys, look. Last time we played a quiz game, I think Mom came out on top. How many points you have, Mom?
278.
All right, and Biko?
I have no idea. I didn't know I was supposed to be keeping track of this.
Yeah, you gotta keep track of your.
He had 7.
Yeah, no. He did not have 7 points. He did not have 7 points.
Bum ass operation is. I gotta keep track of my own points.
You gotta keep track of your own points. Yes, that is part of the game. The part of the game is keeping track of your own points. Did you not know that?
No, it's bummy.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say I don't think Mom's correct. on the 7 points for Biko. What I have
think
here.
he had 16.
No, Biko had 20 points.
And I had 28.
No, you had 25.
No,
No,
I
you had
won.
28. You had 28. Yeah, so Biko was sitting at 20, you had 28. 230. You really tried to pull that off, huh? Okay, back to the rules, okay? Each of you will get 2 questions directed toward you. You have a chance to answer it and get points for your question. If you cannot answer it correctly, the other person gets a chance to answer for you. There's a bonus round. This time the bonus round is just 1 question. That question is worth a higher number of random points, possibly, who knows. And that question usually has multiple answers. If you get part of the answer, you get part of the points, but if you get the full answer, you get the full points, and you both get equal time to buzz in to answer that one. All right, so we'll start with Biko this time because you are down. You have 20 points in this game, and you're gonna get to go first here. There's a handicap.
What's the buzzer for if he goes first?
Well, the buzzer is for the last part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Because you all get one,
Okay.
aimed towards you. Okay. All right, Biko. Are you ready?
Yes.
What sold the most? A, PSP. B, Xbox. C, GTA 3. Or D, Wii U.
Xbox.
Is that your final answer?
For now, yeah.
The correct answer is not Xbox.
Come on.
Mom, do you want to steal? What sold the most? PSP, Xbox, GTA 3, or Wii U?
My answer is Wii U.
Wrong.
Okay, sorry guys. Nope, not doing it. The actual correct answer is the PSP. That was the PSP sold 80 million. Surprising, that's crazy. Xbox 24 million, GTA 3 14 million, and Wii U 13.5 million. How many points do you think that was worth, Biko?
20.
432. Sorry, buddy. You missed on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, time for your first question.
Hey.
What video game company was founded 135 years ago? A, Nintendo. B, Microsoft. C, Activision. Or D, Yo Mama.
My buzzer is locked.
Wait.
Do I need it?
You don't
mine
need
is
your...
too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Give me the
buzz if you
choices
want.
once more, please. 135 years ago. Okay.
A, Nintendo. B, Microsoft. C, Activision. D, Yo Mama. You can buzz if you want.
Yo Mama.
Are you serious?
You said 135 years ago. None of those existed except, well, not Yo Mama, but A Mama. Okay, never mind.
That is so wrong. Biko, do you want to...
What was the question again?
What video game company was founded 135 years ago? Nintendo, Microsoft, Activision, or Yo Mama? Biko, do you want to steal?
Yeah, I'll steal it. It's Nintendo.
That is correct. It is.
That
Nintendo.
is a lie.
It is not a lie. Nintendo's been around for 135 years.
They started as a toy company.
In 1889, they started as a card company in Japan.
Card company. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say that. I thought you meant gaming. Okay.
It is a gaming company. The cards.
It's the company.
Nintendo started in 1975, or Microsoft started in 1975. Activision in 1979, and Yo Mama is prehistoric, so who knows? But that's not a video game company, nor is it specific enough to garner an answer. So, that was worth.
Always ever wanted to say what you knew was the craziest answer.
Biko, that was worth 114 points. Congratulations. Next question for Biko. What is Master Chief's voice actor's day job? A, sports commentator. B, radio DJ. C, life insurance salesman. Or D, gym instructor.
What was the first two? Sorry, the first two again.
Sports commentator, radio DJ.
I'm gonna say radio DJ.
That is correct.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Nice. I had no idea.
Radio DJ. All right. Okay. That is correct. He is currently and has always been a radio DJ for a local radio station. That nets you a grand total. Well, not grand total, just for that question. 6 points. Great job, Biko. 6 points.
Oh, no, cool. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Mom. Okay, ready. Your question. What game inspired the United States Congress to force the establishment of the ESRB? A, Super Mario Brothers. B, Carmageddon. C, Mortal Kombat. Or D, Miley Cyrus Goes to Hollywood. Mom.
Now, you know I want to say the Miley Cyrus answer.
I know you do.
Okay, I won't do it. Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's correct. Right. Mortal Kombat and its horrible violence did inspire the Congress to call everyone murderers and potential murderers and demand the creation of the ESRB. That was worth 110 points.
Woohoo!
Oh, okay.
110 points. 110 points. Okay. So, last question. Thanks for your patience here. This one you will absolutely have to buzz in for. Okay?
I'm
and
ready.
whoever buzzes fastest gets it because I have it to set to one buzzer. One person can buzz, okay? This question has multiple answers. You have a chance to get...
Go ahead, Biko.
You have a chance to get some of the points, partial points. That's okay, okay? And if the other person doesn't get all of it or half of it, the other can try and answer. Here we go. Barack Hussein Obama purchased ad space in 18 video games in 2008. What games did he not purchase ad space in? A, NASCAR. B, Army of Two. C, NFL Tour. D, Burnout Paradise. E, Skate. F, GTA 4. G, Guitar Hero 3. I, The Incredible Hulk, the video game.
All right, buddy. I'm gonna need you to list some of those back out again. That's a lot.
You know, that is your
options,
privilege as the person who buzzed first. That's very strategic. I will list the short list again. Which games did he not purchase ad space in 2008 for the election? A, NASCAR 09. B, Army of Two. C, NFL Tour. D, Burnout Paradise. E, Skate. F, GTA 4. G, NBA Live. H, Guitar Hero 3. I, The Incredible Hulk. I hear a lot of typing going on over there.
Oh,
I'm
wrong.
writing them down.
He's writing them down.
I am. I'm ready. Y'all suck, dude.
Your 20 seconds starts now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just name a few. Let's say Burnout. This is places he didn't take out ads, right?
Yeah, I'm asking which one did he not?
You said there's several answers though, right?
Yeah, there are multiple answers.
I'm gonna say Army of Two. I'm gonna say Burnout.
So Biko says Army of Two and Burnout.
Wrong.
Only one of those is correct. Army of Two.
Army of Two?
Yes, Army of Two did not have an ad in it. Burnout did. Mom, are you willing to steal? Which one of these games did not have an Obama ad in it? So we know Army of Two is one.
I can't remember all those.
Okay. So there's Army of Two, which Biko picked, and Burnout, which we already know is not correct. So after that, there's NASCAR, NFL Tour, Skate, Grand Theft Auto 4, NBA Live 2008, Guitar
Grand
Hero.
Theft Auto 4.
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
He didn't want no criminals.
That is also correct.
All right,
Yeah,
keep
so
going.
Obama did take out it was only two. I only had
Oh.
two. He put him in so many games. I was trying to think of games that came out in 2008. That's all I could get to. Yeah, so Obama put out a bunch of presidential ads in a bunch of games, and those two were not the ones. So, Biko, since you answered first, you get 99 points.
Ooh.
Cool.
Mom,
99 points. Yes.
you get 49 points. If you had gotten both of them, you would have gotten 499 points. But you guys did not get that right. Also, I am not against cheating. I just, hey,
I wasn't cheating. I was literally writing down my answers.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm not saying you were or weren't. It doesn't matter because the game doesn't require that you. There's no such thing as cheating in the game.
No. There's
at
no
the
point
moment.
to cheat.
True.
And that was pretty good considering there were two, and he got one, and I got one. I got mine really quickly. I didn't have to choose between.
That
One
is
was
true.
wrong.
That is true.
So I should have gotten bonus. I knew right away.
Okay.
We'll try next time.
Yeah, just try next time. And
Not a sore loser. I am a sore buzzer. Unlike my buzzer.
oh, okay. You want it? Here you go.
It's too late, though. You just kind of ruined the whole thing.
You're gonna keep clicking, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So Mom finishes here with 187 points.
Woo! Yay! Where's the applause? Where's my applause?
And Biko, where the hell are my comments? Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. And Biko, I think you took a commanding change here. Last time you had 20, and then you got a good 114 on top of that. Then you got that 6 was pretty important at that one, and then the 99.
Carry the 7.
Eagles got 239 points. Mom, you're behind. You got to pick it up next time because you're slacking here at the moment. But yeah, the score is 187 to 239. Biko. Yeah, good job, guys. I expected less, so great job. Fantastic. I made these a little harder than last time. All right, guys. Look, thank you for listening to the show. This has been episode 140. It's been a long one. I think 8 hours so far. But we love hearing your voices and coming to bring... I don't know. We don't hear your voices. You hear ours. But we love you hearing our voices. Bye. You guys got nothing to say? I kind of let me drown
Well,
there.
we'd love to hear comments, suggestions, and for game reviews, for movie reviews, for TV reviews. So let's hear from our audience. I know it's hard for a million people to respond all at once, but we'll take you as you come.
Yeah,
I just want, we want some listener questions. Let us know if you played any of the games we talked about, or if you have an opinion about something we talked about, or if you have any trivia questions for Chevar, because he needs some more.
Yeah, you can send those to me. You can reply on the YouTube channel. You can email us at superchevybros@gmail.com. Of course, the Twitter is still a thing, and Instagram as well. So find us there at Super Chevy Bros, and you can send us messages. Thanks for listening to the show. It's been a blast. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.